Good morning, guys. Aloha Friday. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Let me just do something with that, like one little curl. It's just making me a little nuts. But hi, welcome. I haven't done one of these in a bit because I was doing a lot of traveling. Um, don't mind me. Uh, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. Normally, when I do these, we're just hanging out. I am gonna be doing some channel messages for the collective as well. You can treat them as a timeless reading or as a weekend reading, even since I also do weeklies. Hi, Paula. Hello. Kaylee, Chrissy. Need some island turtle time. Well, we're here. We're here. And I even have my morning mushroom coffee. I actually haven't had this in a bit. Mm. It's been kind of a different kind of a week. I think is a good way of saying that. Um, yeah, it's just been different. I feel like I am almost fully recovered. I know it's been taking me a long time, but I also have been going through an expansion as well in this last week. Um, with my sensitivity, with my gifts. So that's I've also been navigating that as well, and also just trying to sleep a lot. Hey, hey, hi Keith. Good afternoon. Hello. Oh, is it afternoon for I guess it would be afternoon for some people. I was friends with Lashed Out at Me today. Oh, Anna, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's totally the energy we got going on collectively right now. Let's see. Mahalo for your reading. Thank you. Good morning from Montana. I just turned 12. 12? You're 12? Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Feel like you might be a little young to be on here. Just putting that out there. Just saying. Good afternoon. Good to see you. But happy birthday either way. My favorite chats on YouTube. I left an astrology video halfway through. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, that makes me feel special. Uh, they mean the time. Oh, okay. I was like, wait. Thank you for pointing that out. What was I gonna say? So speaking of astrology, I in this like little space that I've been taking space. I've been taking space. It just turned 12. Yeah, sorry, I misread. I misread. My bad. My bad. Sam, hi Sam. Oh gosh, I'm lighting chamomile and sage. Ooh, so nobody gets my hot dog water energy on them. Chamomile is a good offering. I actually use chamomile for offerings when I'm like hiking out and about and I like take some sacred time in nature. Definitely, I'm 20. I'm 20. Wait, oh, I'm definitely 27. Okay, got you. Uh, was just watching you 5 years ago videos and they still resonate. Oh my God, 5 years. Oh, it's crazy it's been that long. Honestly, and that's something I've been reflecting on too, just like how many years have passed that I've been doing this. It never stops feeling surreal. Um, Especially as a lot of you know, I have been like contemplating just getting into different things. And as I've been taking this space, that's what I've been reflecting on as well. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time before I feel like I actually have the energetic reserves. I've realized too that like, how do I want to say this? Especially with this expansion that's going on as well, it's just like my energy bandwidth is not where I want it to be. And so I'm also taking time to honestly just replenish my batteries. And that includes taking space from people as well, and also just kind of going slow with my day and going slow with work and just taking things a lot slower. You've grown so much, you can tell by how much your energy has changed. Oh, I feel like I'm a completely different person than the 2019 version of me. Like, completely different. Completely different. Hey guys, we've got 93 people in the chat. Would everyone please help Island Turtle channel and like the video? Yes, please, please don't stop liking the video. Please, please, please. Um, but I do want to pull cards today. I do want to talk a little bit about the collective energy as well. I know this has been kind of a weird week and kind of a rough week for some people, especially for anybody who's been really dealing with all the shadowy Lilith elements. Hi, buddy. And we got the Clyster here. When was the last time he jumped in the camera, right? Hi, buddy. You feeling good today? He's had a couple really good days. Um, Oh, that was so nice. Talk about the old days. Totally reminded me of the old days. Oh, he's already went to go find his seat to go and sleep some more. um, but yeah, so Oh, Clyde, you're getting love. You want to come back? He's like, no. He's like, I'm really comfortable here and I've exerted a lot of energy and I want to sleep now. But he appreciates it and I appreciate it too. Seems everyone around me has the shadowy energy. Oh my God, yes. It's been crazy too, because it's also been, how do I want to say? It's been coming through even in my dreams, like even in dream time, um, via my personal life. So what I mean by that is like in dream time, I'm having these really elaborate situations with people in my life, but it's all very shadowy. And I am realizing 1111, wait, 111 and 44, by the way, as I'm saying this, just saying. And I'm realizing, is it showing me them? Yes, but it's also reflecting stuff back to me, right? It's also showing me where my shadow is at in terms of things that I can work on or things that I could grow out of, honestly. Raise his hand. It's been a roller coaster of a week, highest of highs and lowest of lows. Oh, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. It feels like what's the word I want to even use for it? It's kind of sobering, a little rattling, but also it's making things really clear too, right? I hope that's how you guys are feeling about it. So much clearing going on in my dreams too. Yeah, it's like every time I have a really elaborate dream time experience this week, first of all, I wake up feeling like I'm still in it. And so I have to like emotionally like navigate the, the coming out of that experience that was in dream time, but I feel very different like coming out of these dream time experiences. When, and by the way, if any of you are like still traversing like dream time or like trying to understand the inner workings of that or how that really affects us, um, when you wake up from an intense dream and you feel different, like you emotionally or energetically feel like something has shifted, that's because something has. That's because you worked through something in dream time or you did some work in dream time, etc. Do you remember the dreams? Yeah, I do. I almost always remember my dreams. It's really rare that I don't. And when I'm not remembering my dreams, that's not a really good sign for me. When I'm not remembering my dreams, I'm probably burnt out. Um, or I'm running on really low energy, or I'm doing something that's kind of disrupting my energy. But yeah, I normally remember my dreams. And last night, it was so vivid, and so just tangible. And it just continued. I actually woke up, it was a two-parter. I woke up and I was like, damn. And I'm like, I was sad. I was a little panicky. I was a little anxious because of the nature of what happened. I don't want to get into the details of what happened. It's to be honest, it's just very personal. And then I was like, okay, okay. And then Clyde was like, feed me, feed me, feed me. So I fed him and then I went back to sleep. And then I had a two-parter that continued. And I just got dizzy as I started talking about that. And actually, the two-parter um, was very beneficial and almost, I felt like I gained closure from that Dreamtime experience. So it can be kind of weird when you're having an experience like that about people in your life. And then I don't know, it's like you get some closure that you just don't have with them in the physical. Like it's just, it can be a little bizarre. But yeah, I feel like that's been going on for a lot of people. I always remember my dreams and it's like I'm in a lucid state, asleep, but knowing I'm asleep. Yes, yes. Hi, Denise. Yes, you cut another live. This morning I had dreams about elves. Really fascinating. My Venus is in Cancer. I've been feeling extra needy, but the rest of the energy is telling me I need to be alone. You Cancers are going through something really interesting. So the Cancer reading posted a couple days ago. If you guys haven't seen it and you have Cancer in your chart, I would highly recommend watching it. Actually, I would even recommend the collective watch it because we are in Cancer season. And so Cancer is kind of a collective vibe right now that we're all experiencing together. It was it was one of those readings. I think I called it being the stabilizing force among chaos, something like that. And that's how I was seeing it with Cancer. Like Cancer was becoming this like center of their universe, so to speak. And like because they were taking this like this stance of just reclaiming all of themselves and reclaiming all of their energy, they were able to start like shifting their reality, really, and start shifting the like dynamics of their reality. It was one of those. It was one of those woo-woo metaphysical readings for sure. And if that's not your vibe, that's not your vibe. But if it's not your vibe and you are going through something like that and you need me to like describe in a more mundane way or more 3D way how that would work, um, Cancer is probably just putting in some boundaries, focusing on themselves, investing in themselves, and just looking out for them. Just looking out for them. I guess it would be a more like mundane way of explaining that, not such like a metaphysical cosmic sort of way, but same thing. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. I feel like my role in as a channel and delivering these messages is just finding all of these different ways to explain the same thing so that like people who are in different places in their life understand the message or actually receive the message in the way that is best for them to digest it. To be honest with you, I feel like that is my job. My job is to be a translator for stuff that's coming through and to translate it in all these different languages for people in different realities. Like that's honestly what I feel like my role is as a channel, which actually is kind of fun in a way. I'm like a galactic cosmic UN. Somewhat. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. Just talking. But I do want to pull some cards for the energy that we are in and that we're moving into for the weekend. Hmm. Oh. Yeah, I guess that's what it is with taking space. I feel like I need to like replenish my creative juices. I feel like my creative juices have been a little depleted. So I'm enjoying that. And yesterday, sorry, I just keep talking, but let's just talk about this a little bit. And yesterday I felt really good. I felt like I had a lot of energy back and I was tempted to devote that to like just all the things with the channel and everything. And then I was like, wait, just because you feel good doesn't mean you need to like go and be productive, right? You can like actually enjoy yourself. You can keep resting, you can keep replenishing, you can keep, right, recharging your batteries. Just because you start feeling good doesn't mean you're totally like replenished. So just, being aware of myself in that vein. But let's go ahead and pull some cards for the collective energy. Doing a timestamp. Okay. Oh, they're just like, I feel like I'm picking up on so much stuff. I almost like need to like siphon through and like sink deeper. Yeah, like siphon through and sink deeper. They keep showing me diamonds, like diamond shapes, and I think this came up for Libra as well. This also came up for Libra. I think Libra had like blue, white, gold, something like that. But they're showing me like violet, like almost like purple, little like diamonds. It kind of reminds me of like the little, what you call it, the little sim icon. Like it kind of reminds me of that shape. But they're showing me like purplish lavender sort of color going on there. I am getting the word royalty. Pride. Pride. Okay, pride. Pride. Ooh, where is the line between ego and pride? Where is the line between vanity and pride? I feel like this is alluding to the energies we've been moving through with the shadow. And I think someone mentioned it. Lilith has finally moved into Libra as of today. Today is also the quarter moon, by the way, for anybody who pays attention to that. And tomorrow we have Saturn retrograding in Pisces. Venus will also be sextile Mars tomorrow as well. Exactly, sextile Mars. So we're in a really interesting little window. But where's the line? Where's the line? I just keep picking up on like there are these fine lines between pride, jealousy, ego, confidence, vanity. It's like not all of these are bad, right? But it's like they're so close to each other. It gets really easy to kind of like fall into one or the other. It's really easy to cross the line. Justified. feel like we're going to wax philosophical today with these messages. Um, Justified, justified, justified. And is it justifiable to move into one of these more less pleasant boxes, if you will, in the name of justice? This was a little bit like tit for tat, a little bit of vengeance, a little bit of spite, but also there is such a thing as doing the right thing or doing the right thing for yourself or putting in boundaries, etc. Or even just speaking honestly about things that are not okay, right? But in doing that, are you maintaining your integrity and not crossing the line and not blurring the lines and the energy you're working from? Like in doing something that's standing up for yourself, are you crossing the line into ego? Are you crossing the line into vanity? Are you crossing the line into jealousy? Are you standing up for yourself because you're actually jealous? Or are you just proud to stand up for yourself? I think you understand what I'm getting at. I think you understand what I'm getting at with all of that. But purple and lavender are colors that are coming through here. Any messages or insights for the collective at this time? Let's see. Cancer. Well, we're not surprised this card has come out. By the way, I'm using the Star Codes Astro Oracle. All the decks are linked below, and I have updated the links for your liking as well. But Cancer with Immerse coming out here. Well, we already knew we were in Cancer season and that we're working with a lot of Cancer energy between Venus and Mercury. Mercury is going to transition soon, I think next week, I believe. But Cancer coming out here. I feel like this is relating specifically to connections and how we are emotionally affected within our relationships and our connections. And are there ways to maintain the boundaries there? And are there ways to actually meet people in authentic ways? This is very much tied to the weekly, which not surprising because we're technically still in the week. But you know the difference between someone meeting you heart to heart, which will help to maintain those lines of all those other messy kind of energies that we can work from sometimes. I almost want to say messy frequencies that we can work from sometimes, and sometimes they are just straight up distortion, right? But Cancer, the other side of Cancer is also really good at like shutting down. That's just something Cancer does, right? Cancer's got that hard shell. Cancer's got those little pinchers. If Cancer's not feeling safe, Cancer will not move from the heart, right? Right. And so some of you who are encountering these connections where they are not like heart to heart connections, even if they have the potential to be or were even, as of right now, presently, if it is not a heart to heart connection, I do feel like a lot of people are being pretty good at shutting down, like shutting the situations down, putting boundaries in place, saying no where need be. There is another shadow of Cancer that's coming through here, and it is a neediness, it is a codependency. But we've spent a lot of years working on that as a collective. I'm not saying it's like fully gone, but that is coming up as well. Let me tune into that for a minute. Abandonment. Ooh, abandonment. Are some of us working from a fear of abandonment and not aware? I just heard a click. That feels on the nose. Yeah, abandonment. This week's energy with Lilith, especially as it was opposing Neptune, it still is opposing Neptune, technically speaking, brings up this bit of a conflict or battle, friction between independence and connections, independence and coming from the heart, like how Neptune really gets us into this place of empathy and really being vulnerable with people, wanting to be vulnerable with people, while Lilith is much more like, I'm gonna do me all day because I want to do me, right? So I can feel that opposition coming up here, and I do think for some people it's been triggering some abandonment stuff. Can I get any other cards for the collective? else is going on for the collective here? They're showing me a cheetah. I might pull the animals today. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've used them and I miss them. But I am feeling cheetah. Why is cheetah coming out here? Reactive. Yeah, reactive. Cheetah's coming out as kind of like a Knight of Wands energy. Coming out. I'm really just channeling it. Feels like a very Knight of Wands energy. Reactive, impulsive. You know, and here's the thing with cheetahs that like I didn't even realize or know about. So cheetahs, unfortunately, like even though they are like super, super fast, a lot of times other animals end up getting their prey, which is really sad and kind of unfortunate, right? It's like you can be the fastest animal in the kingdom. You could be like the baddest one out in the fields or the Pride Lands or whatever they call it, right? Pride Lands, that was so Lion King. But other animals can just wait for you to do all your work and then come in and swipe it from underneath you. Ooh, there's something about that. There's something about that. Having a little bit of a impulsive, reactive, juvenile way of going about things actually leads to a loss. Leads to a loss. There may be people around you, or even you could be tempted to be reactive right now, or to be very like, go, 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 almost like hunting down your target, your prey, trying to get to some sort of end goal, or trying to just be on the move or just be busy. It just feels, I keep getting that this cheetah energy that I'm picking up on is like, it's just a juvenile way of, yeah, of just being reactive, which tells me that it's not grounded. This isn't judgmental. I just want to say, this is just how it's coming through. Yeah, it feels very ungrounded. And why would one want to be so reactive? Probably because it's coming from an insecurity or acting out of fear. Huh. We have progressions with conjunction, journey and alliance. Normally when conjunction comes out, it does represent an energy of support or friends and what have you. And almost like a feeling of togetherness and connection and tribe is really where it's at, right? That's really how we move things along. And as I'm seeing the cheetah, it's solo is how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a solo cheetah trying to hunt down its prey only to lose it in the end. Because what's a cheetah acting out of? Like primal survival impulse. If we allow the shadow to really take over and really drive our actions and our impulses, we're probably going to have our food taken away from us. We're probably going to have our prey taken away from us. But there's something about being in this togetherness with other people from this place of being centered in the heart and these heart-based connections that is really leading us to what we really need and what we really want. And everybody getting fed at the end of the day. Hang in there with me with the metaphors. But that's what I'm getting here. So those who are in cheetah mode or you're observing cheetahs, don't let it dissuade you. Don't let it discourage you. Don't let that energy get you down or get the best of you. Because also this cheetah energy can lash out as well. Like for those of you guys who are experiencing people like lashing out at you or being angry or whatever. And it's kind of reminding me of Queen of Wands actually. At the end of the day, they're probably going to lose out on something. And it's not like, I'm trying to be so careful with my words. It's not a punishment. It's just a consequence of behavior, right? When we act out of survival, when we act out of fear, when we act out of scarcity, when we act out of competition, all of that, we just get more of that, right? We get matching consequences to that. But if we can recognize when shadow's coming up and we can get more into that heart space and actually meet people there, we make the right connections. We make the right connections and we build the right tribe to go at it as a pack. You know what I'm saying? I think you guys know what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's go ahead and pull some other cards here. Is the chat working? I just want to make sure. I'm so used to just like seeing it run, but maybe you guys are just really in it with me. That's totally possible. And again, don't forget to hit the like button. We got 200 people in here and like 90 some likes. Please don't hesitate. But yeah, let's pull some more. And I do want to do the animals today, so we're doing it. Make sure I actually got all of them. Yep. All right. Okay. Using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. A lot of noises coming out of my kitchen right now. The other thing that's capturing my attention is the moon. Now, we already kind of talked about this a little bit when we were just hanging out, the impact of dreams right now, but the moon is really jumping out for Cancer. We did just have the full moon in Capricorn. New moon in Cancer is coming up, and then we're going to have the second full moon in Capricorn. I'm going to say Cancer again. Some of you could be anticipating the new moon. Given that today is the quarter moon in Aries, this is a good time to start reflecting a little bit on your intentions you set from the full moon and then what you are wanting and or anticipating for the new moon. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Can I get a card for Cancer? In the shell, in the shell, in the shell, in the shell. I keep getting pulled back to people who are like really needing to be utilizing the shell of Cancer, the boundaries or the space, or just like, oh, you're not coming from the heart, you don't get access to this. Like I'm getting a little bit of that. And I think someone said it earlier too. It is this feeling of being a little bit more alone, but it's like, it's not the best way to describe it. Yes, like more alone time, more, but it's really about more focusing on the self is really what that is. And again, it's reminding me of the Cancer reading that I did that will help to align to the right people, the right tribe, the right group that actually will be better in the long term for everybody. It's like a crab and a cheetah can't be friends. Right? Can I get a card for Cancer? It's interesting too, because like when we think about cheetahs, they are predators. They are. I mean, there's a lot of predators in the animal kingdom, but it's like I keep getting this dynamic of like predator prey. Can I get a card for Cancer, please? If anger comes up for you at this time, navigate it. Don't just let it take over you. I'm not saying suppress it, like literally take the energy and start navigating it, channeling it, having an outlet for it, or even just taking that higher mind view of, okay, I'm really angry right now. Like allowing yourself to be angry, but not letting it dominate in a way where you just kind of turn into a cheetah, right? Interesting. So in Cancer, we do have Peacock. Yeah, I keep getting that there's a little bit of like a putting on a boundary or putting up almost like a mask, which is kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. Peacock in this deck specifically speaks to beauty and grace, a little bit of charisma even, but sometimes for me the peacock is a bit of a mask. It can be like a bit of a superficial energy, and anybody who's being like that with you, you're like, no. It's just a hard no. It's a hard no. I'm getting something about playing along. I am getting something about playing along. What is that? We'll circle back to that, but there's something about playing along, and there's also something about showing off, is what I'm getting too. It's interesting. It kind of reminds me of what I always say about the loudest person in the room, right? It's like sometimes the loudest person in the room is just loud. They're not actually saying anything. They're not actually like contributing anything versus someone who's probably very quiet, who's observing a lot and who's learning a lot, right? Probably has a lot more wisdom that they're carrying around. There's something about that going on here too for some of you. Some of you could be dealing with somebody or some people that are kind of exhibiting that as well, almost being very like showy or being very flashy, but it's from a bit of an empty place. I just keep feeling competition. I keep feeling this like competitive energy there. Let's move on. Can I get a card for conjunction? Slow and steady. I just heard slow and steady. Conjunction with camel. So camel's a bit of a Virgo energy to me, even though it's represented by fire. Camel to me is very resourceful. Like, I'm going to traverse this whole journey or this path or this desert, and I got to make sure I have my food, my water, my tent, my notebooks, whatever, right? It's like, it's just making sure that you've ticked all the boxes and you're prepared. It's a card of preparation. But I'm hearing slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. It feels like right now there's this awareness of being prepared for the right situations and the right people, but the only way you can do that is by focusing really on the self. Um, yeah. Also, these experiences you've had with people like this have prepared you as well for this. Things are just, I can feel it. Things are just really, really clear or getting very clear regarding interactions and regarding relationships for people right now. And in turn, also any work that we need to be doing individually to be around the right people. Can I get a card for progressions? So can you guys tell me if the chat function is working? I'm thinking it's like glitching out. If you could just like throw up like a thumbs up or something, that'd be really cool. It's like, I think it's like frozen, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna keep peeking as I'm reading, but just, putting that out there. Can I get a card for progressions? Can I get a card for progressions for the collective? Rewards are coming. Progressions with B. There is a little bit of slow and steady wins the race going on right now, and just the awareness of that, of cultivating the right relationships, cultivating what is best for all of us. There's something about the shadow that we've been working through this week that is almost unlocking the clarity, which makes sense, right? As we traverse the darkness, that is where we find the light. And it just seems to be coming up in via relationships. But yeah, progressions with B. B for me in this deck represents long-term rewards after a lot of hard work and effort. B can also be very collective, communal about communication as well. But I just keep feeling like long-term rewards are coming. Long-term rewards are coming. Long-term rewards are coming. And keep in mind too, for this summer, we do have a lot of, how do I want to say, drag energy. It's like, I don't know the way to say that. Like energy that creates a drag or creates a feeling of things are slowed down or a feeling of restriction. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's like those are times when we can evaluate and work on things and tweak things here and there, right? Like we have Saturn being square Jupiter, Saturn being in Pisces and Jupiter being in Gemini, peaking on the 19th, but those planets are starting to move into that alignment. We also have Mercury retrograde, including the pre-shadow and post-shadow from July 15th to September 11th, and that's going to be retrograding from Virgo to Leo. That's like most of summer. We also have Neptune retrograding really soon. I do believe that's happening on the 2nd of July, I believe. Pluto's been retrograde, but it's going to move into Capricorn September 1st. Like, we have a lot. Oh yeah, Saturn being retrograde too. We have a lot of retrograde energy coming up and square energy. And it's like, that is a good time to reevaluate things. It doesn't mean don't go do things. It doesn't mean plan. It doesn't mean like stop living your life. It doesn't mean that. But it definitely means like, hey, like maybe just stay a little bit more aware of the bigger picture of things and maybe how things need to shift, right, over the course of the next couple months. But yeah, this is more slow and steady wins the race, doing things the right way, with integrity, with morals, with values, coming from the heart-centered space and meeting other people in that heart-centered way. And if the shadow is coming up and it's showing you things about yourself that you really need to work on to get into that proper alignment, work on it, right? And if other people around you are freaking out, just let them freak out. Right? Just let them freak out. Okay, I definitely think something is wrong with the chat. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, it's frozen. It is. I think it is frozen. Boo, boo, boo. I'm sure you guys are saying really cool stuff and I just can't see it. How weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Um, and anyone else around you who's like really in their shadow and allowing their anger or their fear or their scarcity mindset or their insecurities or their jealousy or whatever come out and let that rule their lives, this is going to be a learning lesson for them, right? Right? I want to say right, like you guys are like able to talk back to me, but you can't right now. I kind of want to pull a couple more cards for you guys. It's we're like live to talk and hang out while we do this, but you know, oh well. All right. Do I want to go for a tarot deck? I do. Let's do a tarot deck. Ugh. Sometimes there are no shortcuts, right? To finding the right people for you, to finding the right circumstances for you, to calibrating things that are actually going to be nourishing for you and to your liking. Sometimes if we want something to that level of integrity, they're showing me the purple again, we got to put in that amount or that quality of time and energy and investment. Okay. Can I get a card for Peacock and Cancer? Oh, my crown. Can I get a card for Peacock and Cancer? Interesting. We have the Knight of Swords, Gemini energy coming through here. Knight of Swords can be very direct communication, very blunt, but it also cuts through the crap. It does. It cuts through the crap and makes things very clear. And that's also what I'm getting here is like things have been made very clear about our relationships at this time and also our own shadows, our own shit that gets in the way, the shit of other people that gets in the way. And for a lot of us, it might have been through communication of people saying certain things or telling on themselves or what have you. Some of you may have even like made this known to other people around you of like, hey, that's not okay. Hey, this isn't cool, right? But yeah, I feel like Knight of Swords is coming through here to just say, we've been cutting through the crap and we've been doing it through the shadow. And it's reminding me of the title I even gave the weekly. The shadow cat frees the lamb, right? The white lamb of innocence and purity and truth, right? And the shadow cat is shadow technically, but shadow can be how we stand up for ourselves, right? How we protect ourselves, but shadow can also be how we destroy things and how we kind of act out of our pain and out of our wounds. And both can be true. Either way, truth is being revealed, right? I want to say has been. Truth has been revealed. Can I get a card for Camel and Conjunction? I'm getting a 3 of Cups energy here. We'll see what comes out. Oh. All I saw first was the King of Cups. And I was like, oh, okay. I can tell someone sent a super chat. I appreciate it. I like, for some reason, the chat is frozen on my end and I don't know how to fix it. But I really, really appreciate the super chat. I just saw it pop up in the little thing on the corner. So whoever sent that, or if there's multiple, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so bummed I can't see the chat. Hold on, let me see if there's a way I can fix this. Oh, I fixed it. Okay. Hi, everyone. Oh my God, I'm here for this live. Hi, Tess. Hello, Angie. Andrew, thank you, thank you. So sweet. I'm just catching up on the chat and I'll get back to it, I promise. Excuse me. The purpose will never be rushed. It'll be given when it's time to be presented. How long has she been on? Man, I missed a lot. Thank you, Lilith. Be Divine. Oh, that's a cute one too. Thank you. 1:33 when I joined. Oh, I'm so glad I got the chat back up. That was really bizarre. That was really weird. I'm seeing Triton stuff. Totally onto the vibe. Sam again. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. All right, we're back. We are back. Okay. That makes me happy. Because sometimes I gotta be honest, it's like it's awkward if you're on a live and you're doing a reading and like you're saying stuff but no one can respond. Like it just is awkward. Anyway, we're back. So talking about conjunction with Camel, like I said, there's something about this energy that feels very like slow and steady wins the race, and getting prepared for the right circumstances with the right people. We do have the King of Cups, which totally coming from the heart. The King of Cups to me is this mastery of water. It is this I don't know, it's emotional maturation, right? Like I've explained this before, but for those who are new, Queen of Cups is really good at emotionally regulating the self and like containing the self and all of this. The King of Cups is really good at managing and self-regulating the self, but can still emotionally interact with others, and this does not deviate. This cannot be shaken, right? So it is a mastery of your water and a mastery of emotional intelligence, which is very much on par with this energy too, right? It's like if shadow gets kicked up, if your shit, your wounds, your triggers get kicked up and you can't handle it, you can't self-regulate, you take it out on people or you lash out, or that's just where you operate from, you're not a King of Cups, right? There's still some growing to do. I keep seeing a Queen of Wands energy, which is kind of interesting. You become the cheetah, essentially. But for those who have that emotional maturation or who are working on their emotional maturation, we have the King of Cups with the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Swords. So here's the thing about the preparation for the right circumstances and the right people, etc., etc. That Eight of Cups implies that there needs to be some sort of emotional detaching or leaving something behind or letting go of something, or even maybe some people. But the Eight of Cups is Saturn Pisces, which is basically what we're under right now. And remember, it goes retrograde tomorrow. Love your channel. Thank you. And howdy to all. I'm the chat. Keep working and bettering yourselves and learning every day. Stand strong. You've got this. Oh, that was a sweet message, Christina. Thank you for saying that. But the Eight of Cups energy is Saturn Pisces. And we are really under the pressure of Saturn right now because it is going retrograde tomorrow. So just a little retrograde thing. When a planet goes retrograde, especially a big planet like Saturn, when we start creeping up to the actual retrograde day, it's like a rubber band, right? The tension starts to build, the pressure starts to build, and then we hit that point of it actually going retrograde, and it is a little bit of a pressure point. And sometimes a retrograde phase, especially with a bigger planet, like specifically Jupiter and Saturn, I'm specifically speaking of Jupiter and Saturn. I feel like I can do a whole video on this. The course is coming, I swear. I have decided I am going to commit to doing that. I just need to build my energetic creative reserves up to doing it. But anyway, when a planet like Jupiter or Saturn goes retrograde, it comes with an event, I find. It comes with an event or a shift or a gift or something tends to happen or a breakthrough, something. Something tends to come in, minor or major, that also influences that retrograde phase and what we learn under that retrograde, right? And then as Saturn turns retrograde and then continues in the retrograde phase, that pressure is starting to build more internally, because when a planet retrogrades, it goes inward. The energy becomes internalized versus externalized. And so Saturn, we start to take on a little bit more of a personal kind of influence with Saturn, where it's not so much about how disciplined can we be in our external world with what we're doing for us and around us, but more how can we be disciplined with ourselves? How can we grow within here, especially in a sign like Pisces? But that is also why the Eight of Cups is associated with that energy, because this is about the lessons of emotionally letting go of things, emotionally detaching, uninvesting, and allowing ourselves to move on emotionally, grow emotionally, and move towards the 10, right? It also is this energy too of like quest like energy of how good are we at moving away from the familiar, all those cups, and moving into the unknown. Very Saturn Pisces. But then we have a Nine of Swords here. Anxiety and a little bit of fear and trepidation, and that's a little bit of that shadow energy coming up, a little bit of ego energy to be like, I don't know. But the truth is we do know, because we've already gotten the clarity from the Knight of Swords. That clarity has already come through on what really is going to be best for everybody. This feels a little bit like a Saturn retrograde reading, like what Saturn retrograde is going to be bringing for everybody. I kind of want to do that reading now. I was going to do signs today, but maybe I'll do that. Anyway, sorry, coming back. Um, this might not be super easy, okay? Some of you, this may be all about your own shadow work. Some of you, this may be about having a very honest moment with yourself about what you truly need to do to prepare for this really beautiful, supportive energy and circumstances that you guys have actually already been wanting to align to. Some of you may be very physical, like actually getting out of certain relationships, right? Or certain environments, but it's really just coming to terms with what you are afraid of letting go of. What are you afraid of letting go of that is so familiar to you? What are you afraid of letting go of that actually will help lighten your load to be more prepared, right? Yeah. There's a lot going on there. I feel like I could talk more and more about that, but I feel like it might become circular. You've just answered my question. Oh, well, you're welcome. Yeah, I think I will do a Saturn retrograde reading. I like, that just feels so right. It might take me all day. So if you're waiting on the sign readings, especially my patrons, that might push the sign readings out, but that feels really good. I wrote it down. I'm going to consider it. Let's move on to progressions and B, the long-term rewards for doing this work. So I have progressions with B. So thank you for this. So thankful for this Astro chat. You're welcome. And that's the other thing too. Like I want to do more videos purely about astrology. And that will also be involved in Patreon. And I also want to do a live with my patrons. Maybe I'll do a live with my patrons after this. And then maybe I'll do Saturn readings. But yes. Wow. Oh, how... Well, this is interesting. We have the 10 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. Oh, I just got easily. Coming out with progressions and B. Two very different energies. Two very, very different energies. It almost feels like the different outcomes. The Gemini aspect of the Knight of Swords is jumping out at me here. And we have been kind of speaking in polarity, right? People who are going to be turning into cheetahs and people who are going to be making sure they turn into King of Cups. It's almost like the face-off of King of Cups and Cheetah, which as the Cheetah, they keep showing me Queen of Wands, which to me feels more shadowy. Queen of Wands, more than anything, like a Queen of Wands reverse. And almost like these can be the two different outcomes. The 10 of Cups or the 5 of Pentacles. Thank you. I just heard energy is self-perpetuating. That's a mouthful. So much implication there. Energy is self-perpetuating. Like I was kind of saying before, right? If we act out of the Cheetah, if we act out of that shadowy Queen of Wands energy, and we act out of a place of competition, predator prey, grabby grab, scarcity, survival, insecurity, fear, we're just going to breed more of that in our lives because we're acting out of that energy, and it self-perpetuates, like cyclically, the energy that we receive, right? And that is very 5 of Pentacles to me. Oh, thank you. I just picked up on something else. Okay. Put a pin in that. All of the kings coincide with their suit journey, including the 10s. So what I mean by that is like King of Cups is associated with Ace of Cups to the 10. King of Pentacles is Ace of Pentacles to the 10. King of Wands is Ace of Wands to the 10 of Wands, etc., 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 right? Like when I talk about the King of Pentacles, a lot of you guys know I say the King of Pentacles always manages the 10. Well, the King of Cups always manages the 10 of Cups. And here we do have the 10 of Cups being here, okay? Just to emphasize that. Also having the 10 and the 8 imply that there's a 2 of Cups energy here, which we already knew because this is clearly relationships are a huge part of this. But coming back to what I just picked up on here, that 5 of Pentacles for some of us in these like long-term gains and the situations that we will be aligning to for the King of Cups, people who will be aligning to certain situations and people that are very nourishing that can lead to a true 10 of Cups. It's almost like I'm getting like the word misfits, which is kind of fun. I forget what Christmas movie that is. I know that that's like a thing. Maybe something's gonna happen around Christmas time in relation to all of this stuff. But there's something about being out in the cold together is what I'm gathering with the 5 of Pentacles and 10 of Cups for some of the King of Cups people in the room. in the room. Being out in the cold together, finding tribe together as misfits, finding tribe together as those who broke away is almost how I'm gathering that. Those who followed through on the Eight of Cups, who went into the unknown, who said no more, or who dropped what was familiar, or who dropped their programs, or dropped certain people or environments, and just finding tribe and togetherness, like being out in the cold together, only to really come back into the sunlight as the Ten of Cups. It's a very interesting message. Very interesting. Island of Misfits. Oh, that's right. I love how you tie in the math with magic. I can't. Math is magic. Don't get me started. Didn't you know math is magic? Didn't you know? I feel like that should be a t-shirt. I feel like all the math nerds like who are watching are like, yes! It is though. It is. Not to get all nerdy for a second, but like math is a universal language literally of the universe. And like while math also is very influenced by man and there is some imperfection there, like you can take whole classes on like math philosophy and math logic because of this, but math is the most tangible way we have attempted to quantify God, if you think about it, right? Because we use math for everything to figure out literally how everything works and how everything falls into place. It's like going all the way into like physics or metaphysics, right? And it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's not perfect because it has been influenced by man. But math is magic. It is magic. Anybody who's ever taken like mathematical theory classes, like you guys know, it's like when so little story time. I'm gonna get back to it. So for my undergrad, I majored in a couple things, but I majored one of my degrees is in math, and I was super excited because I've always loved math. I didn't know that most of the program would be theory, but I honestly really enjoyed it. And I think the theory started really fast. I think it was only after like my first year, actually probably during my first year, it's like you started getting into really heavy math theory and then you just kind of continue on. But literally just getting to prove things all day long using math, like that's magic. That is magic. That is magic. I mean, even if we look into Egypt, right, and Kemet, it's like Kemet is where we also derive chemistry from, right? It's like it is magic, but it is also science. And I say this all the time. And I know that people who are not involved heavily in both fields or both like just human concepts of just thought, right? Of spiritual, occult, magic, and then like science, math, and all of that. A lot of people think it's one or the other. No, it's both. Like you actually do need both for both to be true. Like if you take chemistry or you take biology or any of those hard sciences, it's like how can you not look at that and realize like and not realize it actually is magic. Like it is one and the same. I don't know why people have fallen into this like illusion, like this illusionary trap that it's one or the other, because it's actually both require each other. Both require each other. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. But I gotta be honest, like it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when I meet people and it's like I tell them, I just tell them about my life and like what I do, right? And one of their like the go-to response is always, well, I believe in science. It's like, so do I. Kind of have to like do this too. Like you kind of have to. In a way, to be honest with you, it's very grounding. Like I know in our community, there is sometimes a pushback on hard sciences, like a rejection of it. But I think it's because there's this like illusion around this like particular topic. And also not to mention, yes, there have been things that have been poorly reported or falsely reported to rebuke the other, right? But it's not a battle. Like both are true. Both are true. Both are true. And I also get to that, like, even just like from a programming standpoint, like a lot of people are programmed to think like sciences are hard or sometimes too difficult to learn. It's just a program. It's really just a program. I think a lot more people are capable of understanding math and hard sciences than they allow themselves to, just because they're told it's too hard. Like, I can't tell you how many times, because I also was a math tutor too for a number of years, how many times I'd be working with somebody and just putting it in front of them, they shut down because they already have that notion that they won't be able to understand it. But it's actually very, math is actually very intuitive. And to be honest, sorry, this, I didn't mean for this to be such a long story time. Um, and to be honest, one of the reasons I loved math was because I didn't have to remember anything. Like, it either works or it doesn't, right? You figure it out or you don't. Like, it's not like you have to memorize like chapters and chapters and chapters of information and regurgitate it. And I always loved that about math. It's like you can look at it and figure it out, right? Because it's just blatantly true or not. And for me, so again, I don't know why this turned to story time, but I do love information and I do love knowledge and I do love my audiobooks. But reading is something that when I was really little, I really struggled a lot with. And so as I got older, and I do think it's a neurodivergent thing, because also reading, it's a whole other topic, is not actually natural to us as humans, but that's a whole other thing. Um, and so because of that, I really struggled a lot in a lot of topics just because the reading comprehension component was very difficult for me. And it's not an intelligence thing, it's just unnatural to my brain. But that's why I loved math, because I didn't have to do that shit. I lost my intuition in geometry. Oh, geometry is a little funky. Okay, geometry is also really funky because I think I've said this before too. A lot of geometry is rooted in the notion that like everything is linear, which we know is just innately false. So like that's what I mean. It's like there are things in the world of hard sciences and math that like are not actually that accurate, right? And can stand to be adapted, right, to these kind of bigger truths, which should just benefit everybody. But I find this interesting as a creative. To be good at math, you have to be creative. To be good at the sciences, like, and not from a place of just remembering and regurgitating, but to actually understand these bigger concepts of science and math, you have to be a creative. You have to be. Like, some of the greatest mathematical minds are very, very creative in nature because they're one and the same, right? I was always good at math, did great in algebra and horrible in geometry. Yeah, geometry is funky. Geometry is kind of funky that way. Trigonometry is my favorite. It made me look at world differently. Trigonometry is cool. I remember when I first learned calculus and like that made me even more excited about math. I already really liked math leading up to that. But calculus is when you start really getting into like mathematical theory and concepts of how things really work and are like put together. And in high school, I had a calculus teacher. I still remember his name. I'm not going to say it here, just, privacy purposes. Not like he would watch, but, just privacy. And I just loved how his brain worked. And I remember I went into class one day, I think it was a Coke can and a bagel. He took a Coke can and just knowing the volume size, like I think it was like, I don't know, a 12-ounce can, however many ounces they were back then, dating myself. Just using that and calculus, he was able to figure out the exact dimensions of the can. Like, that blew my mind. It's like, how can you not like love math after something like that? But I've had people tell me that they love astronomy and hate astrology, but they are intertwined. They're like, like jumping out of my seat at that. Yeah, I've met people like that too. And it like puzzles me because if you study astronomy and you know the history of astronomy, astronomy and astrology were exactly the same thing back in the day. And I mean way back in the day. When astronomy first was becoming even a thing, it was astrology and they did use it for divination just like we do today. So it's like when I come across, people who are like, oh, I'm an astronomer or I love astronomy and they totally rebuke any validity around astrology, I do get a little like, because literally the roots of astronomy are modern day astrology. It's exactly the same. It's the same shit. You can tell me it's not. It's the same shit. And if you get really, really adept into astrology, like I'm at the point now in my studying where I do have to get into very heavy astronomy. And I'll be honest with you, I've kind of like slowed down on it because it's like, ooh, this is like a whole next level of like more of like hard sciences way of going about astrology, which I'm excited for, but it takes a lot more brain power and bandwidth to digest all this information. But it's the same. It's the same. I took astronomy my senior year in college. I loved it and saw the connection between it and astrology. Yeah. Like you can't tell me they're like not involved with each other. Like it's literally the study of the stars and celestial bodies. Because even if you get in depth into astrology, it's not just about the stars anymore. Like a lot of you guys hear me say, like I talk about planets and dwarf planets and asteroids. It's like even comets sometimes you can look at in the terms of astrology. It's like that is astronomy. But I digress. Getting off my little preachy soapbox for today. Maybe that was just a little bit of information that had to come out this little talk. They took the self-help astrology part out of astronomy. Well, and it's the same distortion too with are we going here? It's the same distortion too with how the church has handled that over the literally the centuries. Because the church also used to practice divination with astronomy slash astrology when it was one and the same. And as time has continued, they have changed their beliefs around that, which is fine. Whatever. I don't really care. Teach their own. Um, but it's just that same distortion of, for whatever reason, it's like, no, this form of divination that we have been doing as the church is now no longer valid and not okay and not sanctioned by the creator is the thought form. So then it becomes what? A hard science, right? The church does need to be called out. And there's so much math to astrology. It is very mathematical. Like, and I've shown you guys my notes every like once in a while, and my notes are very mathematical. Like when I'm doing like really big clusters of energy, and I'm like trying to see right how all of it is like relating to each other and connected. They look like mathematical equations because of the way that I write them. I don't even have anything really accessible to me right now because I don't have my books out with me. Same with alchemy, they disregarded it. Yeah, it was like spirituality, magic, and science was always one and the same. Always, always, always. It's really only in modern times we decided it's not. In Europe, where some churches are hundreds and hundreds of years old, the zodiac signs are engraved in the walls. Yeah, yeah. And going back like tons of thousands of years, human beings from all over the world use the stars to navigate their daily life. Because it's part of nature, first of all, it's part of nature. It is also science because it's part of nature and the fabric of our beings, right? And it's also magic because you know what? It all works. That's all magic is to me. Magic to me is just the natural flow and harmony of all things that just are, even if we don't fully understand it. It is literally magic is just the true harmonization and existence of all that is natural. That's what magic is to me, right? Just because we like take our human brains and we try to like really put labels on everything and it must work like this and it must work like that. Again, kind of arrogant because we are just human beings like living in this beautiful, amazing world that the creator has created, right? But that's all magic. That's just what magic is. I had a really interesting talk with a friend recently on AI versus like nature, and it was a really interesting discussion. We were just discussing. We both like to just get in these really like interesting rabbit holes. But I think that's why for me, nature and keeping things natural is so important to me because I understand that's where magic is. And yes, even like our own consciousness is part of that too because we are natural, right? And our consciousness over however many years it's taken has evolved in order like to be able to even be contained in a physical way to experience physical reality is kind of amazing in and of itself, right? But all of natural existence is because it's from the fabric of all things that have always been. So I don't know. That's why it's magic to me, and why I would probably prioritize nature over AI. But that's me. Shift your mind and shift your life. Yes. It's such a great chat this Friday. I'm in one of those modes. This might be a good day to do Island Turtle Talk episode too. So many little things I want to do today now on my list. Church says prophesizing good and divination astrology bad, so I don't understand. I can't acknowledge one without the other in my experience, but I don't know. Yeah, it don't make no sense to me. You're hitting all the notes in this conversation. Could it be that it's not that people are incapable or ignorant or even unwilling, rather they are taught differently, or that they get overwhelmed as per beliefs in magic go? Yeah, I mean, I think that's all under the same umbrella to me. I think that's all under the same umbrella. I think people hear this is too hard to understand, this is too difficult, and then they get into it, and then even sometimes I think teachers project that onto students, that something is too hard or too difficult. And then even just societal programming, like when it comes to hard sciences and math, it is mostly male dominated. And then we have that myth that, oh, it's male dominated because male brains are like literally male brains are just better at math and sciences. And I'm just like, people still believe this. Like, people still believe this, which still blows my mind. Like, when I think back to the program I was in undergrad, there were not that many females. I want to say maybe like, I was probably one of, oh Lord, can I even remember back that far? That's like a couple past lives ago. Maybe 5? Maybe 7. 5? Oh shit, I don't remember. It was a really low number compared to how many men were in our math class department, so to speak. Very, very few women, which makes me very sad because it's just not true. It's just not true that men are just naturally better at math and science. I just think that's cockamamie, honestly. And especially when you look at brain patterns, women actually have a lot more like faster neuron firing. And also, oh, what's that part of the brain? I can't remember the part of the brain, the one that is literally connects the two hemispheres down the center. For women, it's actually a lot thicker. And so that's also part of why we have more neuron firing between the two, which also assists with just multitasking. I think that, to me, that actually would be proof that like we would actually have more of a help in that department. But either way, I think anybody can be good at math and hard sciences. I think it's just a matter of being open and receptive, and if you actually want to, right? I think anybody can be good at anything if they really, really wanted to. Corpus callosum, thank you. I was like, it's called something. The study says that male brains only excel in math and science, while female brains excel in all areas of. Even then, I just don't agree. I just don't agree. I just don't agree. I just don't agree. Like, while there may be statistical support, right, in the fact that there are more men than women in the hard sciences, how much of that is just bias? Like, how much of that is almost like confirmation bias in a way, right? It's like, what came first? Like, men being really good at hard sciences and math over women, and so it's led to more men than women in the field, or there have always been more men than women in the field and it's just been perpetuated, and so therefore it's confirmation bias that it's just true, right? And then let's go find some evidence to support that that's true, right? Who knows? Who knows? At the end of the day, it actually doesn't even really matter, but it would be nice to see more women in math and hard sciences. I will say that. I agree. We do what we want to do. I have no interest being good at math, so I'm not going to be. Until I do, then I will. Well said. Well said. Well, we got a little off track here with our little talk, and I don't even know what time that talk even started. Otherwise, I would timestamp it. If anybody does have a timestamp for it, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's unconscious bias because we have disenfranchised women millennia. Patriarchy going to be patriarchy. Well, the main childbearing years are during the main college years. And even then, like, oh, see, I'm in a soapboxy mood today. I feel like even like women with childbearing years. I feel like so much of that has been influenced societally versus just what the human body is capable of, right? So hang in there with me here. I'm not saying I am absolutely correct here. These are just things I have marinated on. These are things I have dwelled on, especially being a woman at the age that I'm at, who does not have children. How much of that is really influenced by expectation of society and also being told as women that at a certain age, like, we just shouldn't be having children anymore. The truth is, women go through menopause at very different ages. There is an average age range that women go through menopause, absolutely. And women will go through menopause. That is absolutely true. There's no way of avoiding that. But it is completely different woman to woman. And so much of a woman's body operating that way is influenced by environment, diet, genetics, even our own belief systems, right, can affect that for ourselves. And who's to say that childbearing age for women can't be in their 30s or can't be in their 40s? It absolutely can. Are the statistics great? No. But how much of that has been influenced by like just being in very toxic, like physically toxic environments that have affected our bodies, and even emotionally, mentally toxic environments too, that also impact just how well the body operates, right? So I don't know, just putting that out there too, because also if you look at different demographics like through the years, that has also changed a lot. Like we've had some eras, very modern day too, like I'm talking like 19th, 20th century. We've had some eras where the average age of a woman having a child is like 18, and some where it actually has been like 32, 33. Like I think it was actually like around the Great Depression, or was it just after the Great Depression? There's an era around that time where many women actually were not getting married and having kids until their 30s, but no one really talks about that, right? And yes, and people used to die at 60. Yes. So like that plays a role too, right? It's like historically, yes, we also were dying a lot younger and that would influence that, but we also are living a lot longer now too. And how much of the body can evolve and adapt over time. So I'm just, putting some different ideas out there, right? Look at Janet. She had a baby at 50. So true. My parents are 80 years old and spry. I love that they're spry at 80. I love that. I worked in a maternity ward. 30% or so were having their first child after 36. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, like when we come across like stats and numbers and things like that, like I feel like I haven't talked about this in a long time. I feel like these days, because of the way information is so, I almost want to say misinformation is abused, and how willy-nilly people just put things out there without being very clear as to like where that's really coming from. Like when I tell you guys all this stuff, I'm very clear about it. I say, these are just my thoughts. These are things I've been marinating on. I would not say these are absolute truths. These are just things I think about. Honestly, these are things I just percolate on, right? But when it comes to like the hard facts and hard numbers, if it's not like an actual like study that you can thumb through yourself and you can look at their resources, you can look at how they did these studies, like what the structure was, what all the statistics were, the probability, the standard deviation, the standard of error. Like if you can't really look at all of those things, we're kind of in a day and age where you really can't take it as truth, which is kind of unfortunate, right? It's kind of unfortunate. And I know that the science community has taken a lot of hit for that too. And also there are some people who just don't even know, who just aren't even aware. Like a lot of people will just go online, pull up a stat and go, hey, look, this is true. Is it? Like, how do you know for sure that it is? And then even those who do look at research papers and articles, they don't look to see the sources, right? Or they don't even think to even do that, or they don't know how to do that. And it's just unfortunate. I'm lost in the chat. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's okay. Seriously need to change the fact that they call it geriatric pregnancies. Oh, I've heard a lot of women talk about that too. Just like the age that they start putting women in geriatric pregnancy category. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, information. That's like such a thing. And I think that's also going to continue to be a theme in the forefront of people's minds, like how true or not true things are just because Jupiter is in Gemini and that's what Gemini is about, right? And when people give real life experiences, they dismiss it by saying it's anecdotal. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Or they just don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it because people get really attached to their beliefs and really attached to what they think is true. And that is also kind of circling back all of what Saturn and Pisces is about as well. How much can you let go of things that are familiar to you, including programs, right? Or very limited beliefs. The black girl from the show, Boy Meets World, in her mind, ooh, in her mid 50s, and she just announced her pregnancy. She did it naturally. Oh, congrats to her. The news channels are classified as entertainment. Are they really? I was, you guys are chit-chatting. I was one of them at 35, now I'm 54. Nice to be here. Have you made it to Payson yet? I have not. I have not. I have not. I go by feelings a lot more these days than whatever I find on the internet. Yeah, same here. Same here. It's like I'm open to information, but I always check to see how it feels in my body and if that tracks for me. And you guys know I say this all the time. It's like people can have different truths that are not in line with yours, and it doesn't make them any less true. We are living in our own little realities. We are. And we do set the parameters of our own realities. And some people can come in and hang out, and some people can't, right? And it just is what it is. How many people are able to have the conversation in real life? Not many. Not many, which is very unfortunate. People get really stuck in their egos. And for different reasons, too. For some people, it's they don't want to have their belief system rocked, and maybe that's holding them together in some way, shape, or form. Some people just want to be right because it's filling a void or insecurity of whatever kind. There's so many reasons people get stuck in stuff like that. Have a baby when, if you're meant to have a baby, no matter the age, divine timing, yes. Bubble hoppers unite. I love it. I love it. But yeah, again, didn't mean to get all soapboxy and go on that huge tangent, but clearly just had to happen for whatever reason. A lot of people feel like they have authority over others and can force their opinion on them. Yeah, unfortunately. It's a very rare human being that can just like come to the table and have a discussion. And I really love those people who can do that. I love those people. I treasure those people. I covet those people. Because they are few and far between, for sure. But that's also, I think, the direction that if we can head that way as a collective is just going to benefit everybody, you know? People get so judgmental. It's like you cannot be right and they can be wrong. Yeah. Yeah. I'm learning this. Yeah, and our society is built up to support that, unfortunately. A right, wrong. It's that competitive energy coming back to the cheetah, right? It's that competitive cheetah energy. I've had to let go of the concept of scientific facts as data, technology, and research are ever evolving. Oh my God, always. And that's the thing too. It's like something that I do struggle with the scientific community, and it's not like all of the community, but it's definitely a good chunk of the community where like there's no room to adapt what we thought we knew. And that's what science really was for a certain point, right? It's like, yes, let's figure this out and let's study this. And then, ooh, let's discover this. And then we thought it was this, but oh my God, look, it's actually this, right? And just having that knowledge ever evolving. And now it's like, because there is some sense of corruption as well, like, well, in every industry at this point, but in terms of like the hard sciences or even academia, and I just got to say it, but that corruption has also led to not allowing all truth to really come through and adapt and make room for all truth, right? Because then it threatens the structures that we thought once were. But that's the point, isn't it? It's like, isn't that the point of science? Like, to continue to learn and grow and evolve and be more aligned to absolute truths? Like, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? At some point, we came to thought that we've learned everything there is to learn. Mm-hmm. Very arrogant, but it's true. The whole idea of science is to prove itself wrong. Yes. but I was just going to mention academia. Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like if I had all the resources in the world, I would just be an academic, to be honest with you. Because I do love it. Like I loved going to school. I loved it so much I went back, right? It's like I loved going to school and I love that environment, but then there's all of that stuff wrapped up in there too. And I also don't have I don't have like limitless resources to do that either way. I have to stay away from people and having these conversations. Unfortunately, they're icky, get sticky. You're on point today with the words. I don't want to drown in the tar. Same, I get it. And when you discover that, like, the certain people just can't like have these kinds of conversations with you, it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. Ultraviolet was once just a theory until we explored it and created technology to perceive it and measure it. Yes. Learning is fun. It is fun. It is fun. Can you tell we're in Jupiter Gemini right now? With everything we're talking about? This is so Gemini. Okay, I am going to stop talking though. I am going to hop off here. It's hard to navigate certain people. So glad for my friends. What about being a professor or something? I like sharing information. I guess I do like teaching. Um, Also why I do want to do an astrology course. Which again, and I'm just being very like honest with you guys, I need to keep replenishing my creative reserves because I can feel it. Like I'm very close to energetically being in the right position to do that. But I'm replenishing that right now. Especially if you get me to question my beliefs. Patreon, yeah. You're a natural educator, 100%. I just like to share. I mean, honestly, that's really what it is. I just like to discuss. I like to discuss. I like to share. I do like to go and explore and learn things, and then I like to come back and be and share. Right? It's like kind of like people who like go learn a recipe and then they cook it up and like, hey, you want to try my cookies? It's like, hey, did you like let's talk about this. That just gets me excited. That's how my inner child works. That's how my inner child is. Thank you so much. Follow your heart. I always look forward to your readings and I'm loving this live and conversations. Oh, Danny, it's okay. It's gonna post after the fact. This brings me back to, oh my God. I totally forgot about that hoodie. I haven't had that hoodie in a while. I got rid of it. It was getting worn out. It was getting so worn out. I remember that hoodie. Any of you who've never seen, oh, I can never say his last name. John Leguizamo. I believe that's who it was. Oh my God, that was an amazing show. Amazing stand up. Thanks for the hangout. Look forward to Saturn retrograde readings. Yeah, I do think I'm gonna do that today. It feels really good and I feel like I've got the energy. So yeah, so I'm gonna bounce, but I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me and having this soapboxy discussion with me. And I hope that you guys feel really good today, and I hope you feel really good over the weekend and just moving forward. And I will see you guys again very soon. I do want to connect with my patrons, and it probably will be today. I might take a little break before connecting with my patrons after this. Yeah, today is a good day energetically, very motivating. Yes. And again, quarter moon Aries, right? Thank you for this awesome chat. You're welcome. And thank you guys for the super chats, for those who sent those. Really, really appreciate that. Feel super energetically motivated finally. Good. Take that energy and run with it. Go have fun. Whatever you do, have fun. Have fun with it. Have a good day, guys. I'm going to take off. See you guys later. Bye.